Good morning. I am Anne-Vinciane Doucet from the University Library of Granada, and I will present you briefly our university before present you two tools. So our university library is in Spain. Our university, there are about 55,000 undergraduate students, more than 6,000 postgraduate students, almost 6,000 lecturers and clerical staff, 28 faculty and school, more than 100 departments, 18 research centers, 77 degrees, and 98 official masters. Our library has its origin with the foundation of the general study of logic, philosophy, technology, and canon, established when Charles V visited Granada in 1526. And then in 1531, Pope Clement VII granted the foundational bull of the University of Granada. Holdings came from donation until the middle of the 19th century, first with the expulsion of the Jesuits, and then from the extinguished convents, and the first purchase was made in 1839. The old book collection, which is in the library of the Hospital Real, which is now the rector's office, has the following items. 47 incunabula, imprints from the 16th century to the 18th century, in more than 700 manuscripts. And actually, the university library has 21 branches, which there are a library in each faculty of the university, which are specialized in all the subjects. The library holdings are more than 1 million monographs in paper and more than 6,000 electronic books, 50,000 electronic journals, more than 100 databases, and more than 50,000 documents and Digibook. Digibook is our institutional repository. Well, now I will present you Alchemy API, which is a tool to extract keywords automatically. The objective was to select keywords automatically in Digibook. We used Alchemy API with the text API call method that is used for extracting keywords from uploaded text content. We'll present briefly the repository, the collection and the documents, the collection research, which include preprints, postprint, thesis and dissertation, and articles. There are more than 9,000 documents. In journals, there are 17 titles. There are journals published by the University of Granada, which represent more than 3,000 documents. In learning, there are 65 documents. In the old book collection, there are more than 40,000 documents, which is a bigger collection. And in official paper, there are more than 1,000 documents too. The chronology of the documents hosted in the repository is from the 15th century to the 20th century. The languages used are Spanish, English, and Italian. The staff who participated was one librarian, and it took 1 week to prepare the corpus for annotation. And then it took 2 days to the librarian to be sufficiently acquainted with the interface. The corpus size processed more than 100 master's projects, 200 journal articles, and 10 other types of documents. So the result of Alchemy, due to the limitation of the text to be analyzed, they decided to collect only the abstract of the text. And so the comparison was made between the automatic keywords and the keywords assigned by the authors. And the results in Spanish are very poor. For example, in one text, it only extracts 3 keywords in Spanish, whereas 50 in English and 22 in Italian. So, we want to outline that there is no need to set up the tool in the PC. It works with a free API key limited to 1,000 daily transactions, and the guides and other documentation for the use of the tool are very useful. Some improvements should be interesting in the Spanish language to have better results, and on the other end, in the text side to be analyzed. And then we assessed another tool that is Tailor. It is an interactive post-processing tool for scanned pages. It has been selected because it's an open source software, and one of its options is the page splitting, which is an important aspect for the library. So the objective was to improve the visual appearance of material, especially in tilting, page splitting, and staining removal. In tilting, because due to the book's own frame, sometimes it's difficult to perform a clean digitization. And the book don't let open wide enough to have a straight digital image. In the page splitting, because this feature is relevant, given that the page splitting in two sites make it easier to employ an optical character recognition tool. And staining removal, because of the time, some stain appear on the sheet. So to improve the look of the spot, we think to use this tool. The version of Tailor was a 3.0.9.11.1, and the input and output format was TIFF. 11 documents of the whole book collection were selected regard to several aspects, like font type, state of conservation, and layout. And some aspects more common were black borderline, book with title page to 2 printings, books with text and picture, marginal notes, stained sheet, the limit between 2 pages were indetectable, and so on. The languages used were Castilian, Latin, Greek, and French. And the font types, Roman and capital letters, and the text types, Italic and Roman. So as you know, in digitization, there are 2 types of copies, the faithful one and the digitized one. So the color mode is needed to preserve the original feature, as it's not available to use staining removal, neither filling areas to preserve the fidelity. But as we have to evaluate scan Tailor, we use those options to clear the deficiency. So the result of digitized documents were compared between scan Tailor and Photoshop. Scan Tailor is better in tilting, staining removal, and page splitting. It detects the division line in the 95% of the cases, though the page was well turned. But scan Tailor is limited in color images and doesn't fit our needs. Because as the filling areas utility doesn't have the texture option, but only plain color, when they fill the text, it doesn't copy the texture. So the result were strange mixed between paper and plain color. But it works quite well with a geometrical correction. About the automatic content selector is not always effective when there are stamps, watermarks, signature, or just plain pages. So it's recommended to use a manual selector. But if we use this tool, is to get it automatically. If we do it manually, it's a waste of time. So we would like to suggest some improvements to the color mode. For example, a viewer to compare the original image with a processed one, an option to restore values, and an option to save at any time of the process, because the 3 first steps fit our needs. But then in the 4th step is with the content selector that it doesn't fit our needs. So it would be interesting, those improvements. Thank you very much.
So thank you very much for your presentation, the input for the tool providers as well.